Capricorn, this is Tina with 85th House Vibrations, and welcome to This Just In. This is where we get all up in other folks' business about love and relationships. This reading will be good for Capricorn Sun, Moon, and Rising. And if you would like to try to pull together a more complete picture of what the month might look like for you, Capricorn, you can do so, and I encourage you to. Watch the video for your moon and or rising sign if you happen to know what that is. For those of you who are interested in finding out, you can go to astro.com, and if you know your time of birth and of course all the rest of your information, then you can enter that data and it'll generate a chart for you. So if you don't know what your moon and or rising, and if you are interested in finding out where your other planets are located, astro.com is a great site. I've been using it since I started. Let's see. I want to address the preliminaries. I am going to be using, as usual, for those of you who have watched these videos before, I'm using the Llewellyn Tarot. I'm going to draw 3 cards. And for clarifiers, I will be using the Rider Tarot, the little pocket-sized deck. We got the Knight of Cups on the bottom of that. So, somebody's going all in, putting their all into it, and they mean it. Maybe that's me. Hopefully I can put that into this reading, because, gotta be honest, I thought the last ones just sucked. Like, ugh, I'm telling you, I just didn't like them. It was obvious, though, that, to me, and going back and listening to some of them, that Mercury's in retrograde, honey. I'm just going to blame it on that. But the first few readings were like almost surgical to me. It's like, this wasn't one of my better months. Not the way I see it. Anyway, let's go ahead and do a little bit of astrology really quick. I'm going to try to make it quicker. And if I can remember, I'm going to go back through the videos and timestamp show the timestamp as to where the actual reading starts, because I know some people don't want to sit through all of this. Actually, before I start to run down the astrology, Capricorn, let me remind some of you and then alert some of you that last month I made an announcement that when we got to 3,000 subscribers that I would be doing a free 15-minute reading. Well, we got about 60 subscribers to go. So I will be posting a video sometime shortly, letting everybody know how they could possibly win that reading. Capricorn, I hope everybody's doing good. Let's go ahead and run down a quick bit of astrology. We currently have Sun in Taurus. Sun in Taurus has us focusing on how we earn our money and how much money do we have, what things do we have, what can we get, and how can we get it at the best price. Yeah. It also has us thinking about our self-image, our values, traditions. The moon is currently in Leo, which helps me out because I'm a sun sign Leo, and that means that, well, I'll get to that in a second. And that means that I can be pretty lit, which I wasn't the last 9 videos. Mercury has gone direct. Yes. And I really do think it's going to reflect in these last 3 readings. And I actually waited. I did this purposely this time. I just didn't want to read I didn't want to finish while Mercury was still in retrograde. And I know it's going to be in shadow. However, I just, I knew it would flow a little easier And by George, I think I'm going to be right. So anyway, like I said, Mercury just moved direct a few hours ago, maybe about 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. Um, and that's that. And let's see, Venus. Oh, if I hadn't said Mercury has moved direct in Aries, it's actually conjunct Uranus right now. Venus is in Aries. I don't think it's moved out of Aries yet. I'm pretty sure it's still in Aries. And then it's going to go back through its home sign, Taurus. Mars is in Gemini. So with Mercury having gone direct in Aries and Venus in Aries and Mars in Gemini and Moon in Leo. Yeah, I see a lot of movement, a lot of certainty, if I say that right. I think there's a confidence, but it's confidence to the point where things could get ugly. And, while I hesitate to bring up this negative energy, I live in Dallas, Texas, and just a couple hours ago, we got a report of a shooter on campus right down the street from me. I actually took some classes at this community college a few years ago, well, maybe more than a few. But unfortunately, there was a suicide on campus, and they had my son's school locked down. He's at the high school campus. They had this was the community college campus where the shooting happened, but the area that I live in is it's a pretty nice area, and they try to keep things safe, so they will lock down all of the schools, just in case some shit go down and stuff starts moving. So anyway, unfortunately that happened. So I think there's the kind of fire, the kind of movement, and with Mercury conjunct Uranus, the kind of unexpectedness that can cause, unfortunately, things like that to happen. Okay, so let's move on. Mars and Gemini. I said Mars and Gemini is for everybody that is having the desire to do a little bit of everything with a little bit of everybody. Jupiter is in Libra and will be until October 10th, and Saturn is retrograde in Sagittarius. And I stopped there. I really no need to get into the outer planets because we are talking about love and relationships, and we for the most part want to know what's going on in the here and now, things that are tangible. So anyway, with the exception of having mentioned Uranus, with Mercury being conjuncted right now and Mercury having just went direct today, there probably is a tendency for unexpected things to happen. All right, and at that, let us pull some cards. Bear with me, I'm trying to keep them all where you can see them. All right. Okay, they might be a little sloppy. Okay, sorry. The first card we have is the Ten of Wands reversed. So Capricorn, you're letting that shit go. Or somebody is. Some of you may have finished up some projects, and maybe as a result, it is going to, if you're having some issues in your relationship, and I don't necessarily know that yet, but this Ten of Wands suggests that for whatever reason, I'm sorry, my son just came in. That Ten of Wands reverse says that for whatever reason, whether it be you finished up some things at work that had you stressed, and maybe that stress was pouring into your relationship, or, whether or not there was something going on in the relationship that seemed like a burden. I think that is easing up for you. Now, Capricorn, the thing about it too is that we just mentioned, I'm sorry guys, we just mentioned that Saturn, your ruling planet, is retrograde. Your ruling planet, Saturn, is retrograde. Is retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, and the wands are fire. So, with Saturn retrograde, wherever that's happening in your chart, in your life, uh, it may certainly feel like some of the weight is being lifted off of your shoulders. So, we're talking about relationships. So, there may have been something that was going on internally in the relationship that may have felt like a burden to you. And maybe you just felt like you couldn't reach a place of peace. That maybe is turning around for you in the month of May. Or maybe there was things that were going on externally. It's 4:44 on my clock, guys, and I always have to say praise be to God. That's my thing when I see the triple numbers. And 444, so far as I understand, means that the ascendant masters are around us and with us. And that is, if you are into that kind of thing, I'm not forcing my views on anybody, but if you tuned into my channel, then I hope you are open. And as soon as I said that, it was 11:11 on my counter, and praise be to God. I don't want to offend anybody, but that's how I roll. So anyway, back to it. This is saying that even if you had some things going on externally that may have had you stressed out, that may have been causing some problems in the relationship, or maybe this was your partner, that stuff should be easing up. It should feel like a bit of a weight off of your shoulders, a load off of your back, however you want to call it. Okay. The next card is the Nine of Swords. So whatever's been going on, I feel like has definitely caused you some anxiety, some sleepless nights. This card, this I don't. While the imagery is beautiful, I don't like the Nine of Swords in any deck. But the nine is about completion. So, maybe there had been, a lot of mental or emotional power struggles, and words were being used to manipulate and hurt to the point where, somebody was losing sleep. Somebody was feeling grief and anxiety, maybe even feeling some depression. Just, it's just not all good in the mind when the Nine of Swords comes up. Understand, because in the way that this card is placed, I kind of feel like, Capricorn, though you may feel some sort of rest and release in your energy, somehow I still feel like you carry this anxiety or this mental anguish with you as you move forward through the month of May. And what I'm thinking is there's no need to lose sleep. The nines are about completion, as I said before, and the tens are about endings and new beginnings. So wrap this up. If this is your state of mind, wrap that up. And if you wrap it up, maybe that's what it is too. If there's something going on with you in a relationship and it's got you feeling and thinking some type of way, if it's, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Is it that, some of your burdens have been lifted and now you come to a place where you can kind of wrap up this way of thinking that you've had? Or is it that if you wrap up this way of thinking, then your burdens will feel lighter? So, again, what came first, the chicken or the egg? And that's going to depend solely on your situation. Let's see what the third card is. The Four of Swords. We're talking about thinking. We got two air cards, and that's about communication and thinking and thoughts and stuff like that. And this is telling you to take some time out, to take times with you and your own thoughts. There's something that's got you upset, Capricorn, and something that's got you confused. or if not confused, maybe you feel mentally badgered. The thing is, and I assume that because we are talking about relationships specifically, that this is in a relationship that you are having or not having with somebody. What you're being told is, excuse me, to reel it in and take some quiet time with your thoughts. Shut out the world around you and think about it, because it's like if you continue to stress over whatever it is, then you won't get this relief. This is relief. I mean, and this is relief in the energy sense. Let's pull a clarifier. Look at that. The Four of Wands reversed. And I gotta say, Capricorn, this keeps happening. And all, I mean, I don't know if you guys are cross watchers, which I love that word. I only heard that word for the first time this month. But if you guys are cross watchers and you've seen in some of the other videos, I've been having doubles almost every reading. If the Four of Wands pops, if the Four of Swords pops up with the Llewellyn, it has also popped up in the clarifier. So now in the reverse, this is saying that you've taken enough time to think about it. So, you know, obviously it's saying to take some time to think about it, but maybe not spend too much time dwelling on it. You have to take the time to actually think and get your thoughts together. But the Four of Wands, the Four of Swords coming up reversed in this case, right after this, is saying take some time, but don't take too much time. Take just enough time to get your mind right and sort things out. I also feel like too, I just talked about, because this is a lot of swords. We got 3 swords so far. And with Mercury conjunct Uranus right now exact, and Mercury having just went direct, things are flooding everybody's mind. So this could also be talking about too, if you've been stuck, because now 4 and 4 equals 8, and the 8 of Swords talks about being stuck in a particular way of thinking that makes you feel, because the 8 advances to the 9. If this were the 8 of Swords, the 9 of Swords would be next. So what I'm getting with these 2 cards together is saying, you know, aside from take some time but don't take too much time, don't get stuck in a particular way of thinking about things, because if you do, then you're going to progress right into this anxiety, into this feeling of guilt, or, you know, the sleepless nights. Take some time, don't take too much time. You might be having some thoughts that maybe you hadn't had before come into your head, because this talks about, this is the Four of Wands. I'm sorry, I keep saying Four of Wands. This is the Four of Swords upright, which I feel like kind of, you know, regulates the thoughts. You know, we're going to talk about it that way. And then this is saying, okay, well, I'm turning these thoughts upside down. I'm about to bring something to you never heard before. So, you know, I think that can speak to a number of things, but it's definitely about, I guess the way I want to say it is the eruption of thought, where, you know, it may have been stifled and stagnant. With the with the Four of Swords coming up reversed, some things might just burst out. Okay, so let's pick another clarifier, because what I don't see is any hearts, and I don't see even any pentacles that are suggesting that there's some physical person already involved. The other thing I want to say too, Capricorn, is this might be saying lighten up. Lighten up, ease up, don't be so hard on yourself. Because for those of you who may not have anybody right now, or may even be having problems in a current relationship, I suddenly get the idea that you're being too hard on yourself. And you don't have to be. It's not as bad as you think. Not at all. You can change this around. You can wrap that way of thinking up this month. Definitely. The next card we have is the Knight of Cups. And we finally got a cup. So here we go. If you get your mind right and stop being so hard on yourself, for those of you who are not in a relationship or trying to fix a relationship, if somebody has been hesitant or kind of not around, then this person is going to come back to you full steam ahead once you get your mind right. The other thing is for those of you who are not currently in relationships and are trying to attract somebody or get into some sort of relationship, if you lay your burdens down, ease up on yourself, get out of the stinking thinking, and even pay attention to some of the new ideas that are popping up, or even the new ways of communicating, new ways of expression, being open to new ideas and new ways of expression, because this is about, you've thought about it long enough. It's time to do something different. Let's make a move. This is Mercury finally going direct. I want to see if I made that assumption right. Mercury going direct. Well, okay. This is Mercury not going direct per se, because this is saying don't think about it. And Mercury is a thinking planet. This is Mercury conjunct Uranus in this case. Or Uranus. Whatever works. So anyway. I think if those, you can get those things together, then somebody could certainly show up. Or come back even. For those of you who may be in a relationship and maybe somebody rolled out of the picture, I think that they may reappear. Kind of, once you settle down. This is the Knight of Cups, so it could be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Or the other thing is Capricorn, this could be you getting your mind right and not being so hard on yourself, or maybe even some of you may not have had the time to even try to get to love or a relationship or deal with your love relationship, because you've had so much work to do, or you've had so many things to do, and you haven't had the time to address your other half properly, or you hadn't had time to go to places or talk to people where you could establish a relationship. But now that project is done, you've wrapped it up, whatever it is that you were working on that had your time taken up, it's done now. And you can think differently about how to go about things, what has been causing you sleepless nights. And I think whatever it is too, in some cases, for some of you Capricorns, it's been the work that has caused you this anxiety and grief. And you've just really been in a controlled way of thinking. No time for silliness. But with whatever it is wrapped up and complete, this Knight of Cups could also be some of you now ready to go hard or go home, just giving it your all. You're all speed ahead now as far as trying to put something into your current relationship or do the things that you need to do to possibly attract a new one. And that's the way I see it, Capricorn. So if anybody would like to get a personal reading with me, you can contact me at tina@85thhousevibrations.net. Please follow me on Twitter and or Facebook at 85vibe, the number 5, VIBE, no spaces. I want to say thank you to those of you who are new and are giving this video a chance, and a special thanks to those of you who have returned and stuck in there with me. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate you. You have no idea. I hope to talk to you guys again next month.